The last thing I want to see are kids in a nightclub watching men who are dressed up as seductive women and who are teasing the audience, because that's really what they're doing. And to see that happen to children, I just don't think it's necessary. I saw that it was going in the direction of bringing kids into drag, and I just don't think it's right. I know it sexualizes children, and it's an adult space. And why would anybody want a child in an adult space? The last thing I want to see are kids in a nightclub watching men who are dressed up as seductive women.
Gay Pride Month is slowly coming to a end, but still has caused quite a stir across social media. As some of you might have noticed, video of all kinds of events produced for children where drag queens perform have gone viral. Whether in the United States or Canada, this phenomenon seems to be intensifying, and it is essential to question the legitimacy of integrating young children to these performances of all kinds. From storytelling in library to restaurant show to bar performance, it has been controversial and has resulted in polarization amongst the population. Yes, you heard me right. Bar full of kids offering money to drag queens who perform. Is this really appropriate? 2 years ago, Billy, known as drag queen Kitty Demure or Ortega Sisti, produced a video warning parents not to bring children to drag queen show due to the activity and illegal substance involved in the backstage and front stage of these events. Here is my full interview with Billy aka Kitty.
You know, I grew up in the 80s, and men wearing makeup was very popular. Androgyny was very fashionable. You know, you think of David Bowie and Boy George and Michael Jackson and Prince and all of those. And they were actually very respected men, and people loved them. You know, I liked fashion magazines and stuff, so I just started playing with makeup, and I really liked it. It wasn't that I wanted to be a woman. I loved the art of it. I saw drag queens for the first time on the Phil Donahue Show, which is an American talk show that started in the 80s. And I was fascinated by it, the whole illusion that they created. But it really wasn't until 10 years ago where I said, you know what, I think I want to try to perform. I finally got enough nerve, and I did it, and I enjoyed it. I saw that it was going in the direction of bringing kids into drag. And I just don't think it's right. I know it sexualizes children, and it's an adult space. And why would anybody want a child in an adult space? The last thing I want to see are kids in a nightclub watching men who are dressed up as seductive women and who are teasing the audience, because that's really what they're doing. And to see that happen to children, I just don't think it's necessary. Drag room is basically like a men's locker room, for lack of a better description. Men are in there naked. They're taping down their penises. They are putting on corsets, and it's often shared with go-go boys that are dancing in the gay club that night. And there's underage drinking. There's alcohol. There's drugs. I don't understand how adults could watch that and not have the idea that that is sick. It's, you know, I'm not saying that drag queens are molesting the children. I'm not saying that, but they are bringing them into an environment that they don't belong in. I saw a picture of a drag queen who goes by the name Violet Chachki. I've worked with her before, and I saw a picture of her with just tape on her private parts, with a child right there, and I just thought, why would you put yourself in that position?
How would you feel if you were performing in front of children?
I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. I mean, I understand that ultimately the responsibility is up to the parents. And that's why I kind of say more that this is a parent problem, because the drag has existed since before the 1600s, when women were not allowed on stage to perform. That's where drag came from. And it's existed all this time. And I just don't understand why a parent, and it's typically the mother, would drag their kid to a drag show. It's it doesn't make any sense to me. And I think like I said, the responsibility is on the parent. The drag queen is just working. They're just working. It'd be like a woman stripping in a strip bar and they bring their kid in. Me as a modest person and one who cares about the over sexualization of children, I would stop performing and I would just walk off the stage. It's the LGBTQ community who will attack me, and they'll report all of my material and content, and eventually I'll just get kicked off of social media. I'm back today. I'm getting hate from the transgender community because they think I mock the transgender community. And I think a lot of it's just sport. People like to fight and argue. And as far as I know, I am permanently banned from Twitter. I have tried to get back on. I can't. TikTok's more forgiving. You can go on there and start new accounts. But I have been deplatformed from Facebook before. The only reason why I have an account is because I had someone on the East Coast create an account for me, and then they sent me all the information to get it. But there are ways around. They're really pushing the transgender agenda. And, just because I think the whole LGBT community then gets lumped in with it. I honestly think it's pushed by pharmaceutical companies, because medicine is right there to support it. And of course, they're the ones that are there to make all the profit from surgeries, hormones, puberty blockers, things like that. And even detransitioning. There are people who do detransition that people don't talk about. Mm-hmm. But you know what? And just think about it. If you have a child that wants to wear male and female clothes, that sells more items. I think it's honestly retail. I think it's pharmaceutical. And I just think there's money to be made on it. I don't know if it happens in the other countries, but in the United States, it seems like the LGBTQ community, they all think alike and they all want to belong to the community. Mm-hmm. And I have my own mind, and there are others like me. And as time goes on, more are speaking out. Specifically in drag, no, there's maybe one or two others that speak out, but because they want a job. That's what it boils down to. But as far as the community, people are becoming more vocal and speaking out. And I hope that I encourage others to speak out as well. I don't know how you, as a performer and as an adult, feel comfortable doing your nightclub act in front of children and getting money shoved down your underwear. And yes, I get it. Your butt is fake, it's foam, and you are wearing 10 pairs of nylons, and the child doesn't know that. They just see a woman there with her legs spread open. And it's horrifying. It is. And you're not really making that much money, but you give the impression that you're enjoying it, and you make the gay community or LGBTQ community look bad.
So as you know, we have many ways to encourage our journalism, and one of them is to get a merch from our store. So you can do so at rebelnewsstore.com. And for Canada Day, we have a code, Canada25. So when you buy one, you get one for 25% off. And we do deliver worldwide. Thanks.